Hey, what's up YouTube? Here's another quick update video as to how things are going in the garage with our various projects. So as you can see, a nice big open space. There is now no longer a big ginormous UFO in my garage. I sold it about 2 weeks ago and the guy he picked it up this weekend just gone. So that is good, which means we've got lots of space now to start various other projects. Not only that, but it gives me lots more space to also work on kit. I've got lots of bits and pieces to do. I've got to get some stuff down from above the garage, like seats and the center console, stuff like that. So yeah, lots of stuff to cover in today's video. So yeah, make sure you watch all the video if you want to stay up to date with everything that we've got going on. So first things first, the T-bar roof. Now you would have seen in my last video, if you watched it, the T-bar roof. So this arrived about 2 weeks ago and I've spent quite a few hours, in all honesty. It did take quite a bit of work because there was all glass still and the seal and the rubber all in there. So that took me a while and I gave it a good clean, but it's come up really well. You know, I mean, as good as it can be anyway, you know, at this stage. Obviously it came off some old Camaro that was just sat in a shed. So it's not looking too bad. So anyway, we've got the T-bar roof, it's all braced, all ready to go. So when kit goes into the garage for the full respray and the roof conversion, obviously that will go with the car. So the good news is we've now got a little bit of a timeline to work with. A couple of months ago, I wasn't entirely sure how things were going to go because I didn't have all the parts of the car. Now, we've got the roof, haven't we? The only other part we need before I can send kit into the garage to have a full respray is the turbo hood. Now I know I've been talking about this for absolutely months. However, we have finally sourced not a complete turbo hood, the steel scoop, the steel vent, which is as good as, in all honesty. To be honest, that's worked out quite well because this hood fits really well. This fits well to the car. So all I need to do now, well, I'm not actually going to do it. It's going to be the garage that does it. They need to basically put the new steel cowl, the scoop, onto this hood. So that's going to be another job that they need to do. So I've got, you know, I've got basically a steel hood. I've got a factory hood. It just comes in two parts. I just need to put the scoop on top of this hood and we're good to go. So that is good news on the scoop side of things. So we've now got a hood, that's all good. We've got the T-bar, which is sat there, that's all good. We've got the clear glass rear hatch, that's all good. The only thing we don't have at the moment, but this is a job I'm going to try and do this week, is I need to put the spoiler on the back of here. Now I know it's going to be coming off when the car goes into the garage, but that still needs to be fitted before it goes in, because if it doesn't get fitted, then they're going to have to do it for me, and I would rather just do it myself, and it will save them a job anyway. So what we'll do, right, so I've actually already started to take some of these rubbers off, as you can see in there. Yeah, there's a nice big gap now. Now I am going to be selling the roof. When they chop this roof off, they're going to chop it off like there somewhere. I'm then going to be able to sell this hard roof, this hard top roof. So if any of you guys are listening to this video, or if you know anyone that wants the roof when it comes off my car, then just hit me up on Facebook or just send me an email or something, because this will be for sale. I'm not going to want a lot of money for it. To be honest, it'll be good to just get it out of my hands. If it can help someone else, if somebody else wants a good solid hard roof, then you know this is a good one to get because there's no rust. And I will also throw in these. These are all the runners, because obviously if I'm going to go to a T-bar roof, I'm not going to have these runners, am I, that will go all the way down there like that, because I'll have to get some new ones. So I'll throw in these. So I mean, I don't know how much I'm going to sell the roof for, probably 100, 120 pounds, 125 pounds, something like that. I'm not going to want a lot for it. So that's the roof. At the moment what we're working on is, this has been a little bit of a nightmare, to be honest. You'll see there I've got a brand new ignition barrel. That's that one there. Now the problem that we come across, now I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because it's a little bit complicated in all honesty. When you change these surrounds, on the ignition barrel side, they come with like a different mold inside. I'm not going to get into it, but now I know, I know that now. The ignition barrel that I purchased doesn't fit on my new housing. Now this housing is the one that come off the car. So I've had to take all this out and then refit this one and then put it back on the car. So that's what I've been doing the last few days, but it's back in now. I know it doesn't look too bad. It looks okay. I mean, all this will get covered up anyway with the gull wing and the switch pods and all that. But it's just a bit of a shame that I couldn't use the other one because it was brand new. In fact, let me show you what I mean. I can explain things for hours, but if I just show you exactly what I mean, then it will make sense. So that's the housing. Now in there, the ignition barrel doesn't fit. The new one that I've bought doesn't fit. And you've got VATs and non-VATs. So it's all a little bit complicated, to be honest. And to cut a long story short, this one I'm holding here does not fit. This is no good. It's brand new, but I can't use it. It's one of them things, never mind. So that's what we've been trying to do the last couple of days. The last few days. We had to change loads of things over. But it's now back on the car. So what we have to do next is just fit the rest of the steering column back on so I can at least steer the car. And then once the steering column is back on, we're then going to connect everything back up again. All of the electrics there, we're going to just move them out of the way so I can at least drive the car. Because when it goes into the garage, as much as they don't need it to be drivable, I would rather it be drivable. It will just be easier when they put it in and out of the garage and move it around. It will just be a lot easier, because if you start pushing the car, it only takes someone to slip or maybe push the wrong body part and it could sort of dent one of the panels. So I just thought, well, it might just be a little bit easier if I just make the car drivable. So timeline wise, like as I said at the start of the video, here's what I'm going to try and do. In the next 6 weeks, I'm going to try and get the car in to the paint shop. I reckon they're going to have that for at least 2 months. Now I'm hoping to get the car back. Again, there's no rush, but I'm hoping to get kit back in my house, in my own garage, by around September. Now, if that's the case, I can then start doing the inside of the car from September. Then that leaves me September, October, November. That leaves me about 4 months to crack on with the inside of the car, to do all of the electrics, run all the wires and everything. And also in that time, it gives me a chance to get all of the new dashboard, the upper console, lower console, and get all the electrics done. Meanwhile, if there's any gaps and I've got time spare in between, which I will have when there's things that I'm having to wait to be shipped and stuff like that, I can begin with the upholstery. So I can start doing the PMD seats, I can get my door panels, and I can start doing stuff like that. So there's lots of stuff to do. I certainly won't have any spare time. You know, I won't have any time when I'm just sat around, that's for sure. So I'm hoping by sort of Christmas, New Year, the car will be about 85% complete, probably about 80% complete. And then in the new year, all we're going to be doing then is I'm going to put all of the new electronics together and then fit everything into the car sort of like towards Easter time, and then just do all the finishing touches sort of around March, April time. And I'm hoping the car will be finished by about May. Well, in fact, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to have kit finished by May next year. So I've got just over a year, and I think that's a reasonable amount of time. I think that's a fair amount of time to give myself, because you know, I see some people do these cars and they give themselves like, you know, a few months to do things, and that really isn't, you know, unless you're working on the car 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, it's just not going to happen. Honestly, there's so much involved, and I may have been further ahead if I hadn't have done the engine bay. I know that, but as I've said in many videos before, there was no way I was going to build another one of these cars without doing the engine bay. Absolutely no chance, because I feel like it really spoils the car when you build these and you don't do the engine bay. I kind of feel like you let yourself down a little bit. And that was one of the things that I was a bit disappointed about my last car, my first kit. But you know, it's one of them things. It's done now. You kind of learn by your mistakes. But again, it is personal preference. I understand that not everyone wants to do the engine bay, but it's something that I definitely wanted to do. So that's the Knight Rider project. So yeah, it's coming along really well. Obviously still lots more stuff to do, but now we have a little bit of a timeline. You know, we now have a little bit of a little bit more of a plan to sort of work to. It gets a bit more fun, because up until maybe about 6 weeks ago, I was kind of just doing things and just finishing jobs off, and I didn't really have much of an idea when he was going to go into the garage. One of the main things that was holding me up was trying to get hold of a turbo hood, but now we've done that, and also I was waiting for the T-bar roof to arrive, but that's obviously here now, and that's all ready to go. So yeah, things are looking up. I knew that we would eventually get to this stage, but it does just take time, you know, and time sometimes isn't a luxury that you have much of, especially spare time. But we are getting there, and we're making progress slowly. So some of the other projects that we've got going on at the moment is the mobility scooter. So leave in the comment, just leave a comment below the video and let me know what you think I should do with this. There's 3 different engines I can put in this. I can either put in a 40cc 2-stroke engine like what I've got on my quads. I could customize the chassis to fit one of these. I mean, this is only an air-cooled, but if I was to put an engine in this mobility scooter, I'd probably put a water-cooled 2-stroke engine in it. Not only that, but that would be a bit more torquey and a bit obviously faster. The downside to putting in a proper 2-stroke engine is that I can't use this around my streets. At the moment, it's obviously not very intrusive because it's electric. So you can just whiz around the streets, you know, have a little bit of fun with it, and you aren't going to cause any issues. Whereas if I was to put a 2-stroke engine in it, the only place I can use it is a go-kart track or a race track. That's the only, or obviously private lands. So that's the pros and cons for that. So I could either put a 2-stroke engine in it, as I just said, like I've got on my quads, a fast electric motor, so I can just upgrade the motor, upgrade the speed controller, the batteries, and it will be like 10 times faster than what it is now. I'll probably end up getting about 30 to 40 miles an hour out of it. So that would be really good fun. The other option is to put a 4-stroke engine in it with gears, which I'm not opposed to doing that, but that means I'm going to have to obviously have a clutch. I'm going to have to put a clutch in it and all of that. And you know, I could do that, but again, same problem as the 2-stroke is I'm not going to be able to use it around my street, around my own area. The only place I can use it would be a go-kart track. So again, pros and cons, you know, it just depends what you want to do really. I mean, just leave a comment and let me know what you think. Let me know what sort of engine. Obviously thinking about the pros and cons of all of them. A normal engine would obviously be quite noisy, but that would probably sound good fun. The electric motor, more practical, can use it anywhere pretty much. However, it doesn't sound quite so nice as a proper engine. So, you know, pros and cons. So let me know what you think. So another thing I will just say is this year, the air-cooled Mini Quad will be coming out in the next couple of months. I'm going to do some track days on this little bad boy. I've got some tweaks to make to this one, and you'll probably remember that I've got a blue one as well. The blue one has been stored elsewhere. That isn't in my garage at the moment. That's actually the faster one. So I've got the green one and I've got the blue one. So they're more sort of things to play around with this year. I am going to get it down off there at some point, and I'm going to put it onto a bench and I'm going to start playing around with it again. I need to change the gearing sprocket at the back. I'm going to put a slightly, I think I was going to go down at the back, so I've got a smaller rear sprocket, so I've got more top end speed, and then I was going to take it to a runway and see what sort of speed I can get out of it. So that's one thing I need to do. But yeah, the mobility scooter is going to be good fun. Well, that is going to be really good fun when I start playing around with that. So that is pretty much it. Little alien man. Oh, he's up for sale as well, if anyone wants to buy him, or if you know anyone that wants to buy a little alien man, a naked little alien man in my garage. But this is just another little update that I wanted to give you. It was mainly to do with the timeline on when I expect Kit to be pretty much finished. So as I said, Christmas this year, I'm going to get really busy with him in my garage. And also, I don't think, this is some other news, I don't think, well, I know for a fact, I won't be in this garage come Christmas because we're moving house. We're moving house so that I've got more practical space, because this garage is a big garage. However, it isn't very practical, because when Kit is finished, he's going to be all nice and shiny, and you know, the paint's going to be lovely and shiny, and he's going to be sat there. And that means I'm not going to be able to do any work on this side of the garage. Now at the moment, it's fine. It doesn't make too much difference. But I found this with my last Kit, is when he was parked there, I couldn't do anything this side of the garage. I couldn't like grind, weld, anything like that, because it would just wreck the car. So for that reason, I thought I need something a little bit more practical, like the space needs to be more practical. So the place we're moving to is, I think, a bit more practical. But I'll make some videos about it anyway over the next few months when we finally move. But yeah, it will be a lot more practical and a little bit less space, but more usable space. You'll see what I mean when we actually, if we do actually move into the next place. But we're definitely going to be moving out of here anyway in the next few months. So yeah, this is almost the end of the video. Yeah, hope you're enjoying following along. So there you go. Oh, and another thing that I am going to do is get some real 15-inch wheels. I would like to get some sometime next year, but they're so damn expensive. I mean, to get some, like here in the UK, you're looking at, with caps as well, with the caps, you're looking at what, 1,500, so not cheap at all. But for now, the wheels I've got, these are obviously the fake ones, they're fine. The only problem with these, excuse me, the only one thing, the downside to this, is you can't inflate your tyres, you can't put pressure in your tyres unless you take the actual caps off, which is a real pain because they're not exactly the easiest things to go back on. I'll make a video on them at some point and I'll show you what I mean. You know, they're just a little bit fiddly, so it means if you ever need to put any pressure, any air in your tyres, you have to take the entire caps off. And there's 3 bolts in there. There's 3 bolts which basically take the cap off, and they come off easy enough, but putting them back on is a bit of a bugger. It's a bit of a job. They don't always go back on very easily. So there you go. So yeah, a lot of good news I think in today's update, today's report on the projects. But yeah, let me know about the mobility scooter. Let me know what you think. I'm going to start pulling all this apart pretty soon and see what's what. Take all the shell off and decide what I want to do. I may just think, you know what, stuff it, just put a 2-stroke engine in it and then just take it to a go-kart track and then just chuck it around the track, and that might be quite good fun. I'm going to have to be careful though, because I think I'll be able to flip this quite easy. Obviously not back, but sideways. If you see me on the quads, I have to hang off these when I go around the corners, and I think this would be even worse because you're sat a lot higher up. So I don't know, I'm going to have a think. It's certainly going to be a little bit dangerous, you know, doing like 30-40 miles an hour on one of these around a go-kart track. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll just go out and have some fun and go from there. If we break it, if we crash it or break it, then so be it. You know, I got a good deal on this. I think it cost me, I think it was about £100. I think it was 80 or £100. Really cheap. I mean, and it actually works as well. So yeah, that actually works. So what you got? Like that. Even got lights. Look for £80. What's that? About 120 bucks. You get lights. Look at that little bad boy. So yeah, that. Oh. Right, there you go. Right, thanks for watching, and yeah, follow along. Make sure you are subscribed if you want to follow along and check out more videos from me. Got lots more coming up, tons and tons more stuff of the kit project coming up. It kind of tires me a little bit, in all honesty, when I think about all the stuff that I still need to do to the car, but you know, it's going to be good fun and that will be worth it in the end. So make sure you're subscribed, like the video, share the video, and don't forget to leave a comment and let me know about the mobility scooter, what sort of engine you think I should use. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again very soon in another video. Take care.